admitted that she didn't read romances, and probably wouldn't recognize a good one if it came up and bit her on the backside. Still, it was important I get this right on the first try. I didn't have long to prove myself with it. You didn't like Lady Rowena? Or the dashing Lord Raoul? What's not to like about Raoul? Neither. No, I tell a lie. I liked Rowena, and I suppose Raoul shows promise. She waved her hand again and gave a little shrug as I hooked my foot around a three-legged stool and pulled it over, carefully lowering myself onto it. I'd had experience with that stool during the 10 days I'd been living in the flat, and now approached it with the respect it was due. More than once I'd been unwary, only to have it buck me off, resulting in gruesome rug burns from the horribly scratchy polyester burnt orange carpet. Honestly, Alex, it's not the characters, it's the writing. I sat up straighter and snatched a plate of lemon biscuits from where she was about to snag one. Now this was hitting a little too close to home. What's wrong with the writing? Well, it's a bit purple. Purple? Yes, purple. Exaggerated. No one calls a cock a purple-helmeted warrior of love. I blushed a little. Well, I don't call it, either. What? You know, what you called it, the C word. Cock? Yeah. What do you call it? I use creative euphemisms instead, I said with great dignity, and allowed her to have just one lemon biscuit. They were my favorites and very expensive, but she was my landlady, and she had volunteered to give me her opinion on my work in progress. Sacrifices were sometimes inevitable. I am, after all, striving to be a writer. I am expected to be a bit on the exuberant side, verbally speaking. Isabella pursed her lips and tapped an elegant finger to their rosy fullness. Seeing her perfect mouth and her perfect face, topping her perfect body, made me suck in my bottom lip and gnaw off the few tendrils of chapped skin that graced it, all the while making a mental note to check out whether or not the National Health Insurance Plan for visiting Americans covered plastic surgery. Euphemisms like lance of love and anything with a helmet are passé, Alex. I suggest you try something a little less flowery. Flowery, huh? She nodded. I thought about it. How about if I change that first line to read, Lady Rowena gasped in horror at the sight of Lord Raoul's throbbing manhood. No, Isabella said firmly, shaking her head at me, her page boy swinging emphatically. No throbbing. Nothing should throb. It sounds like it's infected. Find another phrase. Gear and tackle? She raised a perfectly shaped pale eyebrow. I should think not. Donkey rig? No. Nature's scythe. Really, Alex, you're not being serious. How about tarse? Tarse is good. I like tarse. Tarse sounds manly and firm, and not in the least bit infected. No, she drawled after considering for a moment. It's too blunt. If you'd take my advice, pintle? What? Too archaic? Definitely. How about poleaxe? She shuddered delicately. Too violent. Why must you beat around the bush? If you won't call it a cock, simply use the word member. Member, I scoffed. Member? How prosaic. Member. She glanced at the thin gold watch on her delicate wrist. I abandoned my protests and hurried on, deciding it was better to fight the big battles. If it's one thing I've learned, it's not to sweat the little stuff. Well, all right. For the sake of moving on, I'll go with member. Now about the next scene. You know, darling, honestly, I think you're just a bit over your head with this project. You said yourself that you've never written anything, and to plunge in with a romance seems a bit daring. She sighed. Ambitious.